I know there are so many experienced farmers out there who are still using the olden ways of doing goat farming, but things are really changing. In case something comes on ground, in case you read something from maybe a magazine, from experienced farmers, from modern farmers, please implement that on your farm. Rise and shine, Value Farm family. Welcome back to another episode of The Farm. If you're new here, you are most welcome. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also turn your notification bells not to miss out on any episodes of The Farm. And of course, to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much for being part of the family and also loving Value Farm. Well guys, we are back at the farm. It's really exciting. Rainy season is still here, but nevertheless, we have to come to the farm. We have to show up for the animals. We have to be there for the business. If you decide to go into farming, make sure that you make it a point to be always at your farm. Well guys, yeah, as you can see, we are still in the exercising yard of the goats. I know there's a lot of noise from the mothers. These are the mothers of the kids that you're hearing from the background. They want to come and feed a little bit before they go out to graze out there. But yeah, this is what it is. I also have my co-director on standby who's going to say hello to you guys and also say something to you. You are most welcome.
Well, hello everybody. My name is co-director Grafton. Today I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. And for those of you that are of a particular age, you should know exactly what I mean. Because driving here this morning, we drove through a monsoon, maybe a hurricane, perhaps a miniature tornado. But then we get to the farm, the sun is shining, not even a sign of rain in terms of fresh this morning. However, we can see signs that the rainy season is definitely taking a toll on our adult goats, because we notice a few of the nannies in this yard are not walking with the normal gait that they would typically walk. And the reason that is because as the ground becomes more and more damp, and it stays damp for much longer periods of time, because in Uganda, the rain don't just come once every other day. Rainy season is just like Miami here in Uganda. It rains every day, and sometimes the rain, unlike Miami, right? It doesn't just rain for 5 minutes and the sun come back out. When it rains, it's literally a monsoon. Like it can rain full speed. Imagine turning on your faucet at home. Imagine that being the rain. It could sustain like that sometimes for 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes from morning till the next day, right? So because of that, a few of our goats are showing sign of foot rot. Obviously, you have to trim their hooves at this time. In some of our other videos, you notice we have rocks in here that are very sharp, and the reason we have the rocks here is so that they can walk on the rocks, so that they can actually naturally shape their hooves. But by the same token, because of the level of water that's actually around at this moment, some of them, don't have that immunity. Some goats is more genetics, they get it faster than others. And don't make the mistake of thinking it's only hereditary in these exotic goats. It can also happen to the indigenous goats as well, because the ones that are hopping around the most are the crosses that we have that we're improving. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you get the actual hoof shaver. Instead of shaving their hooves once every quarter during the rainy season, you might have to do it once every 2 to 3 weeks. It's not many, but it's very tedious. But if you care for your animal, it's a price to pay.
So true. And of course, that should be a routine for every person, at least every day, to check the goats, because sometimes they may not show the foot rot immediately, but you just see them trying to limp, and those are the signs. So you have to always check and also treat well in advance before they get really worse, because when it gets worse, it's really so hard to treat it, and it will maybe even the goat can end up becoming lame in the long run. So you have to at least curb it in the early stages. Then of course, in rainy seasons, I know we discussed this in the previous video as well about vaccinations, especially if your farm is in a swampy place, if you have a lot of water in your farm, make sure that you vaccinate for liver flu as well, because this is going to affect so many goats, especially in the rainy season. Because of the worms that come with the rainy season, you have to make sure that at least you vaccinate them. You bring the vet at least much more often during the rainy season to check out these goats. At least we are really taking our initiative here at Value Farm to make sure that these goats are vaccinated, even rainy seasons, even the dry seasons, to make sure that the vet is always checking out on the calendar, checking out in the routines to make sure that the goats are healthy enough. Now for today, As you can see, it is shining. They're not yet out. It is, you might be wondering, why are the goats still here? The dew is still there, but we are going to take them definitely outside. And of course, more cleaning is going on, and the checkups were also going on because we have a number of goats here. We were from the other section, then this other section as well. So they are going to get out as soon as possible. And also before they get out, as you heard the kids crying out there, they already fed early in the morning, but still we can still bring them back to the mothers to feed a little bit so that they can have enough milk before they get out to graze, before the mothers get out to graze. So it's very, very important for you as a farmer out there to follow schedule, to make sure that even if you are not at the farm, the people who are here follow the schedules, the right schedules, and also give some milk to the kids that do not have enough milk. Because sometimes I think we received one of the comments whereby someone was saying that I have my goats, but they don't have enough milk to feed the goats and feed the kids. So the kids are really suffering. They're not really feeding enough, and some of them even end up dying. So the best thing, if you have cows, as we've told you before, you can utilize the cows. If other goats have more milk, give the kids to the mothers that have the milk, enough milk. And also the beauty about the goats is some of them really accept even other kids. They don't really refuse. They're not like this, they don't refuse kids. That is the most important thing. But at least give them additional milk as well. Bottle feed them. We bottle feed, by the way, the kid goats from here as well. Then of course the rest of the milk we give to the pigs. That's what is going to happen today.
Yeah, that's true. And so guys, speaking on that, right, there's actually a reason we always tell you guys why your goats might not be producing enough milk. And it comes with even before the kids arrive. Now, it's one thing if your goats suffer from mastitis, that could be genetics, that's out of your control. Can a good experienced vet fix it? Potentially, yeah, for a short period of time. But chances are, if you find one of your female goats end up with mastitis, you need to separate, and ultimately, once that goat actually take care of their kids to the point where it could be weaned, you need to mark that female to be leaving your farm to go pay the rent at the butcher, because chances are, if you maintain that goat within your flock, that genetic sequencing is just going to continue. And so if you're not proactive about it, you're going to end up just hurting yourself down the line. And the last thing you want to do, especially if you're breeding for genetics, you're selling kids, other farms and other farmers in your area. If you're not proactive about that, you're going to end up with a lot of unhappy customers. So no matter if it's your favorite goat, if it suffers mastitis, you need to just isolate it. Make sure you send it to the butcher. And if you sell it to somebody else, you let them know that that animal is prone to mastitis, because if you don't disclose that information, it also goes back to the root cause of your lack of integrity. And once you lie to people, and if you don't follow through with what you promise you're gonna do, people are gonna really start to talk about your company. They might not say it to your face, but they're gonna share that with at least 15 to 20 of their closest friends, though you may end up with the best farm in your area. That early mistake you make when you were first starting out will continue to haunt you to the duration of your business, and that can make the difference between you staying in business or getting out of business. Okay, so be careful, be mindful of that. But then the key reason why most of your goats don't have milk, some of you, I know financially times are tough. Do not, the kids are out.
The kids are out.
Do not make the mistake of skimping on your minerals for your goats.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you replenish on your minerals, your salt, because they need to have that, right? Because think about it, you yourself as a human being, you need to have a balanced diet.
Yeah.
If you just eat meat and nothing but meat, chances are that you're not gonna fare very well in the long run, right? We need a balanced diet, and it's the same thing for these goats. And in order for them to perform at their maximum level, they need to have not just the vegetation, sometimes they need additional fortification with their feed. But more importantly, they absolutely need the minerals, because they don't get that from eating the grass. They don't get that from eating the bush, the shrubs. They need to actually have the minerals. And they have some actual mineral formulations out there that actually will help the goat produce more milk. Do you understand? So you need to definitely be mindful about that as you care for your goats.
I'm really so happy when we went to Kenya and Dr. Nicholas advised us on some minerals that we should bring for our goats.
It
and
changed
this,
everything.
yeah, and this really helped us so much. The goats, because we had a problem with so many goats not having milk, we used to lose so many kids because of lack of milk. Even if they used to force them to drink the milk, they would not, some of them wouldn't really survive. But when we brought this mineral salt from Kenya, it was a game changer. It really helped us so much, and this is really a lesson to us and also farmers out there. Like my partner said, you should always invest in minerals for your goats, because this is going to help. This is going to be a game changer in case you want to multiplication at your farm. If you keep losing your goats, you're not going to really multiply as well. So this is going to, and of course multiplication is from the kids that you get from the farm. If you're losing kids day in, day out, then the numbers are not going to grow. You are going to keep on investing in these goats, feeding the goats, but the kids are not surviving the farm. In the long run, you're not going to make it. You're going to just, just quit and just run away from farming, which is not really so good for upcoming farmers out there and also experienced farmers. I know there are so many experienced farmers out there who are still using the olden ways of doing goat farming, but things are really changing. In case something comes on ground, in case you read something from maybe a magazine, from experienced farmers, from modern farmers, please implement that on your farm. Do not be rigid, because things keep on changing. That's why I know most of us have really watched these videos, the goat videos, and you keep hearing us emphasizing on some of the points. It's not that we want to just talk to you guys. We want to emphasize on these points so that you can learn from them, so that you can also implement, because there are some people who feel like, no, this is what I'm using at my farm and I'm not going to change anything. Please, that's why learning does not stop. You need to always make sure that you learn from us, learn from other farmers, and also try. There's no bad thing about trying. At least make sure that you try at your farm. If it doesn't work out, leave it. If it works out, continue with the process. That's what I should really advise all farmers out there.
But guys, to add a finer point to my partner's soliloquy here, there's also another reason why your goats may not be producing any milk. And the sad part about it is you have to then look inwards. It's perhaps your staff. It could be an inside job, because if you're busy, you still have your job in Kampala, you're not there physically, you can't be consistently at your farm, you, your partner, or whomever, you don't have a watchful eyes there consistently. Let me tell you something, human nature, some people will do it because they just don't care, they're just looking for a paycheck, and some of them will do it because they literally, as they're on their way out the door, will try to sabotage your company, will try to sabotage you to see that you suffer. Because they feel like as they're leaving, there should be nothing left behind. They want to burn the bridge as they walk across it. So what do I mean by that? A lot of the time, the goats are not being fed enough. You may end up with a lazy group of herdsmen or women where they, instead of taking the goats out to feed for a minimum of 5 to 7 hours for the day, they might just be letting your goats out there graze for about 2 to 3 hours. And a lot of these herdsmen are, I'm assuming they think perhaps they're made out of sugar. They don't want to get into the water. When it rains, they don't want to leave the comfort of their little, of their housing. They will literally let your goats starve while it's raining. And the protocol should be, if the goats can't be taken out for grazing, they should definitely go out to cut the branches, right? To cut the grass. If you have hay, if you have silage, that's why you actually prepare those things for the rainy days. And a lot of these folks, sad to say, they're not gonna go through with that unless you're physically around. Now, in our case, yes, we've suffered, we've experienced this. That's why we share this stuff with you guys. But luckily for us, it seemed like the good Lord is smiling on Value Farm. We always say God loves Value Farm, and it's true. Because even though we've gone through our own personal challenges while building the staff, we actually have some good people here that's currently assisting us, that's helping us grow our numbers so that we can have what we need for the market. So for that, we're very grateful. But I want to make another point. When you find a staffer, a team member, that's a hard worker that you don't need to be. There's a saying in Uganda here, you don't need to be on their neck all of the time. What does that mean? You don't need to micromanage every single move that they make. When you find those people, you do whatever it takes to keep them happy. You show your appreciation. Yes, everybody have their salary, but sometimes you might come in, you might actually give them a thank you. What does that mean? You might come in with something that you know that they like, whether it's like some juice, a pack of soda, anything.
To motivate them.
To motivate them. And every once in a while, when they least expect it, you might want to slaughter a goat. You understand? And you share with your staff. No? Because they're taking care of your most important investment outside of your personal family, then you should definitely look out for the good ones. Because if you take care of the good ones, that's gonna set the tone for your staff, that's gonna set the tone for your farm. And when the lazy ones come, the hard workers, the good ones, are gonna be the one to stomp those people out. They're gonna definitely isolate those people. And if you have that relationship with your staff, chances are they're also gonna communicate that with you. It's not common, but it's possible. But the only way that's gonna happen is when you get to your farm, don't act like you're all high and mighty. You should say hello to everyone. Don't act as if your employees are doing you a favor by being at your farm. In fact, you should show your appreciation across the board. Be respectful, treat people as you want to be treated, and show your appreciation for your staff. Most importantly, make sure you pay these folks on time, okay? On time, because they're here giving you the most precious commodity they have, and that's their time. So you make sure you take care of them because they can never get that back.
Wow, that is real. And of course, we shouldn't really scare upcoming farmers there because we've received so many comments of people saying, you guys have really talked about management, but it's really very scary to get the right people. Guys, we also started this, and we brought in the people. We learned from our mistakes. So do not get scared. At least you're learning from our experiences, our mistakes that we've done. At least the signs to show you that at least this person is not going to work for you very well. So you just start, get the people. And when you realize that the problem, like you realize someone is not doing the right things at the right time, or you're not doing everything that you really expect them to do, please do the needful. Do not get scared. Just try and error till you get the right people to work for you. That's how it was here. And we are happy. Of course, it's not perfect, but at least we are doing our best.
Progressing. And the thing, that's why we always tell you guys to start small. You know, you should definitely take this approach like anything else. You can't fly until you can run. You can't run until you can crawl. You can't walk. So you get where I'm going with this, right? So like anything else, we always advise you guys to start small. There's a reason for that. Because I want to make sure you get the reason that's such an important piece of advice for you to follow. Imagine as a rookie, you take 50 million shillings, you go out there, you buy 150 goats. You don't know anything about goat farming. Now, if you also, like most people, you don't really know what you have in terms of your staff. So by the time you actually bring your goats to the farm, most of us are very optimistic. You thinking like, oh, I have 150 goats, 125 to 130 females. By this time, I should have this number of goats before the year is over. But in reality, that number of goats, if you're first starting out, could cripple you. It could cripple you financially because think about vaccination, think about ailments that may come up. And unless you have an experienced staff who actually cares, that's the key word. You can have an experienced staff. If they don't care, you're gonna suffer. But the reason you start small, if you start out with 15 goats, 10 goats, 25 goats, that's a manageable number because if you have to call a vet to your farm, most of these vets are gonna charge you per animal that they treat, okay?
That's true.
Best that you actually learn these lessons on a much smaller number, a manageable number. So then that way, when you get up to 500 goats, 1,000 goats, you can literally look at a goat and say, oh, this one's not okay, that one's not okay. We might need to tweak this, tweak that. Right? That's the reason you should definitely crawl before you can walk. And the same principle applies with this business. Whether you're going into cattle, goats, sheep, is the same. Even with chicken. You know, if you want to go into poultry, you're not going to just order 5,000 birds with no experience because chances are they may not even make it out of the brooding stage, okay? So you always want to get a sample first, make sure you can handle, make sure you understand the principles and the core values of dealing within that flock. And then as you feel like you've mastered, you graduate. That's when you continue to grow your flock. Do not put money before your experience because if you're just looking for the money, you're not going to get it because you're going to end up with a world of pain and you may not find farming as enjoyable as we have.
That is so true. You've really nailed it. Thank you so much for that. I don't want this video to be so long, but at least that is some information for you for this video so that you can learn from, pick something, at least pick something from whatever we've discussed today on this topic. And of course, to all upcoming farmers out there, don't fear, just do it if you can. If you have already saved up your money, please just start off the goat farming business or any other project that you can, that you've seen maybe us doing here or elsewhere. Just start it so that you can, you know, get some experience and even expand to be a better farmer. We want more farmers, by the way, but we really appreciate you guys so much. If you haven't already checked out our social media platform, please go check out our social media. That is Instagram, Value Farm UG, Facebook, Value Farm, TikTok, Value Farm. Go see behind the scenes and other things that we really post out there so that you can learn one or two things. But tell a friend to tell a friend. Till next time, bye.